Okay, for this part of the course, we're going to look at the tools in our wiki. So in order to do that, from our course homepage, we're going to click on the wiki in the left sidebar, and we're going to create a new wiki. Once we do that, it's going to request that we put in a title and a description. Notice that there's 2 red asterisks. Those pieces are required before you can go further, before you can save the wiki. Okay. So this will be our demo wiki, and this is our sandbox to try new tools.
Nice typing.
Thanks. Alright, so we can disable editing on a specific date. So you may, if you recall from our learning about wikis, wikis are editable by everyone in the course. And so there's a couple of options that you want to think about here. You may want it to be editable until a certain time, and then you want to disable that and it just becomes an archive. So you can set that up. We can uncheck allow all course members to edit this wiki if you only want yourself or certain people to do that. And then you can make the content non-editable, which means that it's really more of a repository, that we're posting things that every course member has access to, but you don't want them to go in and edit that.
So that's going to depend on if you're using this with students or with colleagues.
Sure, and there might be times that you'll have your students contribute to a wiki, there might be times that you have your colleagues contribute, there might be times that you just want to post things so that they're available for everyone.
Good idea.
So for right now, we'll just leave it on the default. Alright, so let's look at our tools. Really, if you are able to use a word processor, you should be able to edit a wiki. We've already added our title and description, and so you've got a couple of buttons across your toolbar. Your print will print out anything that's in the wiki. You've got a preview button so that you can preview that. The binoculars are for find and replace, so if you have a lot of content, sometimes this is handy to go in and search for a term and replace all of them at one time. You do have a spell check on here, which is a really nice feature so that you can ensure that things that you post, since they are out there for everyone to see, are spelled correctly.
Not like autocorrect in iPhone.
Yeah, no, we definitely don't want any autocorrects on there. We've got these should be pretty familiar. You have a cut and a copy, and then you have a couple of different paste versions. So the first one is just paste. So if you're just cutting and copying from within the wiki here, you would cut it, paste it, and be done. The other paste options is you can paste plain text that you might have copied from somewhere else. If you've copied it from a Word document, you could paste it in here. I think it tries to keep the formatting from those different programs. And then finally you have a place to paste as HTML, and that might be important that if you are copying from a web page that you have permission to copy from and reuse, then you could paste as HTML and it would keep that formatting in there.
Awesome.
I got a couple other things about cleaning up HTML and removing format. We're really not going to touch on those because they're not important right now. You have an undo and a redo button. You've got a place to create a hyperlink. So for example, I may want to have go here to search for content. And I want here to actually be a hyperlink that takes us to the Google website. So I'm going to highlight the word here. I'm going to click on the chain. Basically, I just type in the URL, and I can browse for it if I want to. It's an HTTP, but notice that there's some other different kinds that you can choose from. So if you wanted to put in someone's email address, you could choose mail to. If it was a secure site, you could do that as well. The target, I like to say in a new window, so that way when someone clicks on it, it actually opens up a new window and they don't lose where they are in the course wiki.
That's a good idea.
And generally, I just leave everything else blank. And so I'm going to click OK. Notice that this is now underlined. If I click on the word, after I hit save, if I click on the word here, it's going to take me to that Google homepage.
Great.
If for some reason I make a mistake and I don't want that link to be there anymore, that's what the next button for the chain link that's broken removes the link. So if I click on that, notice that that goes away. So we'll undo and we'll go ahead and leave that link in place. Continuing along our toolbar, our next icon will allow us to insert a file. And so when we click on it, it's going to, if you've got some files previously loaded in the resources, I believe you can access them here. But we're going to go to Upload File, and it's going to allow us to navigate our computer. And so if I go to Add File, I can go in here and I find that I have an image of a bingo card. And so because this is a PNG file, it should upload with no problem. So I'm going to click on Open, and then I can click on Upload, And it's going to take it just a few minutes. While it's doing that, notice, well, apparently it doesn't take a few minutes, it's very quick. Notice that, hopefully you noticed on there that your file limit is 50 megabytes. So that's a pretty good size file that you can upload onto there. But if you've got like a really huge video file or something like that, you won't be able to upload it to the wiki. Alright, and so now that we have this here, we can click on Insert. And we now have a link for our image file. And so once I save this, you'll be able to download from here.
Great. So an assignment for a student could be that link, and they can just print off the page, or?
Sure, or they could go on there, and I want everyone to scan in their homework, and you're going to upload it to the wiki.
Awesome.
So they could add that on there.
So can we put more than one handout on that page?
Sure. All we have to do is just hit return, and we go back to the insert file. We upload a new file. We go to add file, and let's add our second bingo card. So we click open, upload. Oh, well, this is a good teachable moment. It says the file has already been uploaded to Epsilon. If the file has been modified since it was added, click the replace file if it already exists checkbox. And if it's not been modified, then we can choose select existing. So because we had previously uploaded this document, we're going to go ahead and hit cancel. And we're going to select an existing file. Click on select existing. And it's going to be in our documents folder. And so we click on bingo 2, select, insert, and there's our next file.
Great.
So great question.
Thank you.
Alright, so along with inserting files, we can also insert images. And even though a PNG file is an image, we were using that as our uploads. But it works the same exact way. When you click on insert image, it's going to take you through to where you can upload a picture and then insert it into the wiki. So we won't go through those steps. Next button will insert a YouTube video into our wiki space. So you click on this button, and basically you're looking to paste the YouTube embed code. So we're going to embed the YouTube video about wikis in plain English that you saw in the last part of the session. And so you'll notice that at the top you have the URL, so we can click on that. We're going to go back to Course Wiki, and here's a place for us to insert the URL. And then we're going to go back to YouTube, and there's a button under every video that says Get the Video Embed Code. And so you'll notice that this is the embed code, so we're simply going to copy it, go to paste the YouTube embed code here, and paste that into our box. Notice that it pulls up the video for us, and then we're going to leave allow full screen, so if somebody's watching it from our wiki, they can expand it out to full screen. Click Insert, and that's it. We've got a YouTube video embedded into our wiki.
You make it look so easy.
It is easy.
You know, I always forget one of those, so it's good to know that there's a difference between an embed code
and the URL.
And the URL. Yes,
absolutely. Alright, so continuing along our toolbar, after we insert our YouTube video, we might want to use emoticons on our wiki. And in order to do that, really, it's just a list. If you click on the Insert Emoticons button, there's a number of pictures that you can look at, and so this dude looks pretty cool with his shades.
He does.
We're going to click on him.
Let's call him Elvis.
Elvis is now in our wiki. I love it. Alright, another place for special characters, and so if you click on the, I think it's the Sigma symbol, isn't that Sigma? We'll pretend that that's the Sigma symbol.
I don't know, it's Greek to me.
We'll be here all week. Alright, so then you can look and you'll notice you get all sorts of special symbols. So if we needed to have someone's address in there, we could definitely put the @ sign and then continue along. You've got a place where you can insert lines, and so again, it's clicking on the button and it will insert a line for you and divide the content, so that's nice to help organize your content.
That is nice.
You've got a place to make numbered lists as well as bulleted lists, and then if you do use the list feature, this is where you can indent the text for your bulleted or numbered list or outdent the text for those lists.
Innies and outies.
Alright, pretty standard. I'm going to go back up to the top of our wiki content. I can click, highlight, and then choose a font. They do give you very limited font choices because it has to work on the web for every type of platform. And so if Comic Sans is one of your favorites, you could click on it and it will change your font. you can click on the size and notice that you, again, are limited on font size. And so we can go in here and change the font size. We can change the font color. And right next to that color, there's a little arrow. And if you click on the arrow, it should bring up a color palette. So you can choose a color for your text. I think I'm going to leave it on red. We might also want to highlight part of our text. So if we're going to maybe highlight the word search, I click on the highlighter, choose yellow, and now that word is highlighted in my text. We've got a bold, italicized, and underlined, as well as a strike-through option.
So if we had content in there and we wanted our students to do some highlighting, could they use that tool?
Absolutely. We could have a paragraph in there and we could say go in there and highlight all of the verbs, and they could highlight the verbs, hit save. And of course it saves it for every member of the course, and so everyone will be able to see that, but you might have different paragraphs for different students or different tasks. You know, I want you to go in and highlight the verbs in yellow, and I want Susie to go in and highlight the nouns in pink, and so on and so forth. Underline all the adjectives. So that's just one example of what you could do.
It's awesome.
Alright, and then we've got where we can add a superscript or a subscript. We can change the font from uppercase, all uppercase to lowercase, or all lowercase to uppercase. And then, of course, your alignment, left alignment, center alignment, and right alignment. One caution is that on a wiki, because we are typing, even though it's what you see is what you get, you're also doing an HTML type version, even though it's happening in the background. And so you can't really format it to make it look exactly like you would a Word document at all times. So it's important to be flexible when we're setting up our wiki. Now that we've got our content embedded, we have our links, we have our YouTube video, go down here and create a wiki.
Okay.
And this is the same thing as clicking the Save button on other wiki tools. So this is going to save the work that we've done. And notice that we now have a wiki called Demo.
Look, there it is.
So if we click on Demo, it's going to open it up, and I can see my text. I can click on my link, and this should take us to Google, where we wanted to be able to do research. We're going to go back to our wiki. I've got a bingo card, so if I click on it, it's saying you've chosen to open, and it's going to allow me to download or save the file. And then we also have our YouTube video that we could play from within the wiki, and our little images that we inserted, our special characters.
That's awesome.
So there you go. Now, once it's all in here, if you allow everyone to edit, or you needed to go back in and edit, you've got a couple of tools that you can choose. The first one is a pencil. So it's click to edit this wiki, and that will take us right back where we were so that we can edit any of the content, which is one really great feature about a wiki, is that it's flexible enough to be edited at any moment. And the other tools that we had available to us, let me open this up back one more time. We can view a history. So if I click on the little clock, it's going to show me all the changes that have been made on the wiki, who made them, and at what time they were made. And if you want to see what was changed, all you do is click on the magnifying glass, and it will show you what that version looked like.
That's great.
You also you can export the wiki as an HTML document, and you can trash the wiki. Now remember that the wiki is available for everyone in the course, and so everyone has access to do so. So be cognizant that you are not trashing someone else's work.
Right.